Drake and 21 Savage came together to create Her Loss. But what did we think about that album? Was it her loss? Was it our loss? Was it a loss for the culture? Let's lock in and find out. Earlier this year, we were graced by Drake on Honestly Nevermind, one of the absolute worst albums this year. However, at the very end of that album, we were given a track with Drake featuring 21 Savage, and in my personal opinion, especially if you watched the review, that was the best track on the album. If you take one look at streaming services, you'll also see it's one of the most listened to tracks on that album. So quite frankly, I wasn't the only one that felt that way. But Drake is back, and this time he comes along with 21 Savage to give us 16 tracks, 1 hour worth of music, and I have to say I was pleasantly surprised by this album. It is nowhere near as bad as Honestly Nevermind, and it's nowhere near as good as the best Drake's projects out there. However, this one falls right down the middle. We get some decent lyrics, we get some decent production. We get 21 Savage, in my personal opinion, outshining Drake on this album. We get a single feature by Travis Scott. We get multiple producers here. We get Boy Wonder. We get Metro Boomin. We get Lil Yachty, who I didn't even know produced. But the tracks that he produces on, he does a damn good job. I have to give it up for him. He's doing some good work out there, especially with the Poland track blowing up and now production on Drake's album. Amazing. Album also features some very quirky, odd album art. This is a Houston stripper / OnlyFans girl that made the cover. Apparently, Lil Yachty was the one that chose the album cover because he felt it was raw, it was gritty, and he chose it, and I guess Drake went along with it. Drake has never been known for making great album covers, and he continues to give us non-great album covers. However, we're not here to talk about the album cover. We'll get right back into the music. Now, on this album, Drake gives us a little bit of controversy. He takes a shot at Meg Thee Stallion. He takes a shot at Kanye West, but not in the sense of hitting at him, just basically letting us know he's not linking with his ops. That meetup was only because of Jay Prince. Him and Kanye are not, they're not buddy-buddy anymore. Beyond that, he takes a shot at what appears to be Ice Spice, but of course, you know how Drake delivers his bars. He never really tells us everything, but he tells us everything. If you know kind of scenario. Personally, we get from Drake what we always know, what we've come to get used to from Drake, but 21 Savage, on the other hand, delivers, in my personal opinion, an exemplary performance here. In my personal opinion, he actually outshines Drake on this album simply because what we've come to know from 21 Savage is usually very street heavy and very violent bars, and he does not do that on this album. He actually challenges himself, and I think he does a great job. Great writing, great delivery. He has somewhat of a monotone delivery on all of his albums, but when you listen to 21 Savage, you kind of understand that and you kind of rock with it. He does it really well on this album. He's able to stay within cadence. Trust me, 21 Savage, personally, I feel outshines Drake on this album. A lot of the lyrics from Drake feel like they were just kind of dialed in. Even his flows feel like they were dialed in. On some of the tracks, I had to ask myself, was he listening to this beat or was he just doing what Drake does where he kind of gives us that one flow that almost seems like it fits on everything? So it wasn't anything too special when it came to the way Drake delivered things for us. We've got quite a few good tracks on this album. Surprisingly, 21 Savage features on a track called 3 a.m. on Glenwood. You would expect that Drake would have been on this track because, the time and location thing is something that Drake has always done. And when Drake gives us a time and location, he's about to give us bars. He doesn't appear on that at all. This is all 21 Savage. There is absolutely no hook, and he just gives us bars for the entire song. It's one of the best songs on this album, all in all. Drake gives us quite a few tracks where he himself is featured by himself, And I have to say, we know that Drake sings and raps. He does a really good job in terms of the singing on this album. I did not find it to be nauseating as it normally would be with Drake. This was actually an album in which his singing was acceptable. The very last track, on the other hand, very robotic, very mechanical sounding tuning there. So they did a very poor job with that. It's called, I guess, it's Fuck Me. But man, that's a really bad track. It is the worst track on the album, in my personal opinion. Try to skip it if you can. The best track on the album is probably the track Spin For You, in which you get just beautiful singing from Drake, excellent rapping from Drake, excellent rapping from 21 Savage. The production on this track is tight, razor sharp. The hi-hats are hitting, the low bass is there. Everything that needs to happen to make a good rap track happens on Spin About You. Check it out. Let me know if you personally agree with me as that being the standout track on the album. So with all of that said, what do we think about this album? I actually think that they did a great job with this one. I am not turned off by this album as I was with the past few Drake projects. I've always liked 21 Savage's music, so there was nothing surprising there from him. All in all, I'm going to give this album a 6. It's got good production, it's good lyrics, good rapping ability. It's 21 Savage, it's Drake. You know what to expect. They don't disappoint. There's a little controversy. The album is not too long. It's not too short. It doesn't feel like something that was completely rushed. What more could you ask for, especially towards the end of the year where it usually starts to dry up a little bit? This was an excellent surprise from the two. But you let us know what you think. Did you guys like this album? Did you dislike this album? Do you agree with my review or disagree with the review? Go ahead, let us know. Drop it all in the comments below. But before you go, please go ahead, give us a like, hit the subscribe button, and then click on that notification bell so that you are constantly notified of when we upload. We're trying to keep a Monday upload schedule here, so you should get that notification on Mondays. Anyway, guys, I'm Aaron for InCrowd Network. This was the review of Her Loss by Drake and 21 Savage. We out.